Anyway, let's jump to tonight, which will be maximizing your fitness. And we are very fortunate to have Kevin Myles with us. If you don't know Kevin, besides being just a incredibly nice and humble human being, he's also someone who serves greatly in the community. He is always there to help people. And Kevin, setting all of your accolades aside, that's one of the things I appreciate most about you, my friend. So Kevin is an author. He has been in the fitness industry for over 40 years. He has started and run a successful magazine in the industry. He is a performance coach to performance athletes as well as bodybuilders. I know I'm not doing you justice, Kevin, because there's so much to share about you. He's an expert in nutrition, and he knows more than most people I know put together about fitness products. So Kevin is going to take us through a variety of things tonight to help you on your fitness journey, which obviously is something that is crucial to health span. Obviously, we got the nutrition piece down, but it's important to know how to move your body and what to do and what to use. And Kevin, I'm going to hand it over to you. If you have questions for Kevin, drop them in the chat and I will monitor the chat and pass them on to Kevin. All right. So, Kevin, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Todd, and hello, everyone. And I really appreciate you guys being here and taking the time to watch this either live or later on. And I want to make you guys understand this is for you. So I can go off on tangents and talk about everything and anything and not cover what you want. So feel free to, put those chat questions in the chat so I can hopefully get to something that mostly benefits you. Um, a little bit about me. I've been involved with fitness and nutrition for my entire life, pretty much starting exercising when I was young at like 6 years old with Jack LaLanne's old TV show and following along with that and just playing a lot of different sports and just having that interest in just being better in baseball, basketball, football, that whole thing. Nutrition really was not a part of that when I was younger. I didn't think about it. I just like ate whatever kid would want to eat and way too much sugar, way too much soda, way too much things that I shouldn't have had really. But I got away with it. Just had a real fast metabolism. I was a skinny little kid, and I was like 6'1", 150 pounds in high school playing baseball and basketball. So it just wasn't an issue. Injuries forced me to give up a lot of running and jumping sports for a while, and that's when I got more into lifting and bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding, and nutrition was very important with that. And so I was looking for ways to try to build my body and actually build muscle, recover better, train harder, all those different things. And I'd done some lifting when I was in high school, and I could relate that to sports and how that would affect me. So the more I learned, the more I saw, the better I felt, the better I got. And I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of athletes, working at a health food store for 6 years and then managing Gold's Gym for 8 years and just being around the fitness industry. And so I have a fitness website called Body Sport, and I do a lot of training and nutrition articles and motivational articles and just try to help people with that. I've been involved with this amazing company called Life Plus for about 8 years now, and I really discovered them. Someone reaching out to me from Germany actually, and I was a somewhat of a supplement nerd anyway, so I went and checked out all their products and saw what they had and liked everything about the company and started trying their products, and they were the best products that I'd used, to be honest with you, and it was something that I really felt that I could help other people with, because there's people that use like supplements and wanted those things to help with their performance. One thing about sports is that you can really field test things very quickly and see if something does or does not work for you. But as I've gotten older, I'm 65 now, I've also discovered that before fitness, there needs to be health. And you have to have everything in a base of health and how you eat. And supplements are great, but then they are to supplement what you eat. So you ideally want to eat as good as possible and have the right amounts of protein, carbs, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, try to manage your weight, try to have energy, try to recover, try to feel good about yourself. All those things can help with longevity. All those things are important. And if you do those things, you get a lot out of it and you have a lot more control. I didn't understand those when I was growing up as a young athlete, just doing my thing. And what I found was a lot of other athletes didn't understand that either as I got to work with those athletes. And it was amusing some of the incidents. I got to coach some MMA fighters, and one of my buddies was working with the team, and he's like, Spider really needs your help. He doesn't know anything about nutrition. I'm like, Spider's a beast, man. He should know everything. And like an hour later, Scott's texting me. Spider just walked in with a bag of fries and an ice cream cone, and I laughed. Said, "Yeah, Spider probably needs a little help with his nutrition, just understanding how important that was." And the thing about bodybuilding, for all its problems and the drug part of it, the people that do it right from a physical culture standpoint really understand the value and importance of nutrition, and they're almost obsessive by it in terms of weighing and measuring everything, but knowing what they're putting into the body and having that awareness. And you don't necessarily have to be that regimented, but you do need to be aware of what you're putting in your body, how it can affect you, how it can help you, how it can hurt you, and all those different things. And so it relates very well, not just to other athletes and sports, but also to the average person that doesn't understand, protein and carbs and fats and how much they should have, and they get confused with all these different kinds of diets and different things. There's so many of them out there. And unfortunately, we live in a society that focuses on sickness and illness as opposed to health and wellness in terms of our medical industry and community. And so we're kind of left on our own to fend for ourselves. And the more I got into sports and training and nutrition, the more I wanted to know. I even considered being a dietitian for a while, registered dietitian. And I remember my first nutrition class, and the instructor she was really smart, she was really cool, but she could only teach what she'd been taught. And so we're going back to the late 70s, early 80s. And, the food pyramid's still strong. And their philosophy was you can get all the nutrients that you needed just from your food. And so my hand immediately shot up and said, well, I personally don't think that's true. And I hear my boy Daniel Kilkenny in the background say, oh, here we go. And so this debate started. And I get why she was saying those things. And back then, there was a lot more nutrients in foods than there is now. But what you're getting from foods isn't always, what's in the food isn't always getting into your body. And what's in the food now isn't what used to be in the foods 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 75 years ago. And even with that, the philosophy of you can get the recommended daily allowance of all these minerals and vitamins from your foods, the RDAs were created in the 1930s. And they were the known amounts of certain nutrients to keep you free from specific diseases. So the known amounts of the minimal amount you could take of vitamin C every day to keep you from getting scurvy. The minimum amount of vitamin D you needed to take every day to keep you from getting rickets. So that's just what the RDAs are based on. So when we get a vitamin or mineral from a store and it has the RDAs, it's really a very low bar of nutrients that they're giving you as opposed to the optimal amount. What's the optimum amount for you to be the healthiest you can be, have the most energy you can have the best recovery that you can have? For just the average person dealing with life and stress and just wanting to exist on their highest plane, as opposed to someone that's an athlete and your fitness is important to you and you're training and you're trying to perform and you're trying to recover. So for me, that just didn't sit well. So my journey into wanting to be a dietitian was short-lived, but my interest in nutrition was stronger and stronger in terms of me going to learn everything that I wanted to learn and getting the field tested along the way. And it was in a period of the industry where it was almost like the Wild Wild West. There's so many different supplements coming out, and it's very confusing. And bright, shiny labels and packages, and everyone said, "This is great, that's great. Take this, take that, do this, do that." And I was kind of a sit back and watch kind of a guy. I knew about the basic things that you needed, But some of the supplements I was like, okay, let's wait and see. Let's see what these guys do because there's guys that would take anything, right? It's like, so when creatine came out, creatine is now one of the most well-researched, supplements of all time, and it's very effective for anaerobic strength and power. Your body actually makes it, but we run out of it very fast when we're training. So when you take it, it kind of recycles your energy and you're able to train longer and harder in terms of anaerobic power. So like that set of 8 to 9 reps becomes a set of 11 or 12 reps. That's going to help you. That cycling that you're doing when you have to go up that hill, that you're using creatine for that, that's going to help you. Or if you're a sprinter, you're doing something like that, that's going to help you. And in fact, creatine was one of the first big proponents of creatine in terms of an athlete was a sprinter named Linford Christie from England. He was an Olympic sprinter from England. So it was the one supplement that kind of put all the other ones on the map, and a lot of supplements came, to be based around that, and that kind of opened the door for people like having a better opinion of supplements and opened the door for people saying we can make a lot of money off of these, and you get to see a lot of different forms of creatine and then protein powders were always fun in terms of how we all need protein. We need more protein. Let's get your protein. So it was an easy one to sell. Fat burners were another one that just so many people were focused on losing weight. The name fat burner sold itself, whether it was effective or not. And then the big one was energy. Like a lot of people, have periods of time throughout the day or the week where they're affected by low energy. And one of the most popular supplement that we don't think is a supplement is coffee. People get up and they're jonesing for that cup of coffee in the morning because they don't have that energy. And that caffeine actually will give you some energy. It will also help you be more mentally alert. And it's also thermodynamic. So it's the thermic effect of that's going to actually speed up your metabolism a little bit. So coffee can help you in terms of having more energy, in terms of being more alert, and in terms of helping you to burn body fat. So those are some ideal things for a lot of people. Some people didn't want to drink coffee, or some people say, okay, well, we can take that and take the caffeine from that and put it in a supplement and pair with some other things, and now we've got something that we could sell that costs a lot more than coffee. But there's reasons for that, and there's some reasons to do that. But it just shows you that people were looking for things to help them, and especially in the fitness industry, and they were trying those things out. Some the sport I was into was maybe faster adopters in terms of trying supplements and using supplements and knowing how much they could help you because it was a training based sport. You're training 5 6 days a week really hard, and you're trying to grow and you're trying to recover. And me being a natural bodybuilder, trying to keep up with the drug bodybuilders, which I could never do, but I wanted to train as hard as possible, recover as well as possible, and grow as much as I could. And so I had to maximize my nutrition, maximize my recovery, and all those different things. And so that's was the genesis of me learning as much as I could learn. All that being said, supplements are in addition to your food. So yeah, I also had to learn how to eat right. I also had to learn, how many calories I needed to get the right, you know, weight to height ratio, and to be able to control my body fat and to have the energy and give my body the nutrients that it needs, the macronutrients that it needed. And then you got to augment those with the micronutrients because a lot of times you're just not going to get enough macronutrients, especially for me, I was like, I'm 240 now. And so as I grew over the years, it was hard for me to get everything I needed from food. Maybe it's easier for someone that's lighter in dieting, but then you're trying to like avoid certain things and avoid certain calories so you can get those nutrients in without those. And that's what supplements can give you. Doesn't mean you have to use them, but most people do find them beneficial and most people do find them effective, especially if they're really field testing them and they're an athlete. That being said, like I said, there's a base of health that needs to be there first for you to have the athleticism and the performance and the recovery and all those different things. And so even when you're looking at supplements, you're looking at the food-based supplements first, the things that your body needs, those critical elements, those vitamins and minerals and trace elements that your body needs every single day just to be healthy. If you're healthy, then you can use that as your foundation to be more fit and have more energy. And one thing I love on the fitness journey and of all the different things I've continued to do in the fitness industry, I've always coached and trained people along the way to some degree. And one of the most enjoyable things is watching someone come to fitness and then discover all the different things that they didn't know that was there. So they just maybe they wanted to come and lose some weight and they did that and they got a little healthier and now they have more energy. Now they want to do that 5K, or now they want to do, take up MMA, or now they want to go, and cycling or biking more. Now they want to work out a lot more. So they just get more involved in it. And that's always fun to watch and watch them graduate. But you have to start with that foundation. You have to start with looking at how you're eating and how those things affect what you're doing. I wrote a book called The Diet That Works, which is based on how to take your diet from wherever it is and convert it into the diet that works for you. And I have a condensed version of that called How to Fix Your Diet, which is a step-by-step approach of what to do in terms of your nutrition, like writing down everything and seeing what's there and noticing the things that could, maybe you could have less of and things that you should have. And so I have that as I can put that in the MLT group so people can have that and access that. So I don't have to go into details with that here. And it talks about protein, carbs, and fats, and vitamins and minerals and water, and the things that you could have. I also have one for pre-workout nutrition and post-workout nutrition. So without getting into a lot of the specifics, I can just put those there, and people can access them and read them and utilize them. And then feel free to ask me any questions on them. But generally speaking, one thing that from our industry people need to understand is protein literally means of first importance. So every single meal should have some serving of protein in it. It's what the amino acids that make up the protein is what your body uses for all active cells. It's for your muscles, for your skin, for your hair, for your saliva, for your blood, for everything. And so if you're not getting enough protein, your body is not going to be able to grow, repair, and recover to the degree that it can. So that's of first importance. So every single meal you have should have protein. In addition to that, then that meal should have either some source of complex carbohydrates for energy, or fibrous carbohydrates for vitamins and minerals and fiber, or healthy fats for a lot of different things. A lot of nutrients are fat soluble, and you need that. And there's also a great energy source. So you can make your meal plan based on those. Even when you're doing that, it still can be difficult to get everything in that you need or tailor it the way that you want, especially if you're dieting. So you may find that you're lacking in something. You find that you're lacking in protein, so you can have that. That's an easy one to have. And if you're trying to enhance your performance, there's products that I'll talk about in a second that could definitely help with that. But most people are lacking in the basic nutrients in some degrees, and that's why when I first discovered Life Plus, I just started with a product called Daily Bio Basics, and I've been using that every day for like 8 years. And it's concentrated vitamins and minerals, concentrated fruits and vegetables, 29 vitamins and minerals, protein, not protein, antioxidants, fiber, special greens, all in a all in one formula that you take once a day, and it just gives you that foundational nutrition that your body needs, that insurance to help you be as healthy as possible, and you're not worrying about getting everything from your food, because most of your vitamins and minerals are in sources of fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables. And as a society, we simply don't get enough of them. It's recommended to get, I think, 9 servings a day. It'd probably be more optimum to get 11 to 13 servings. The average person gets 3 to 4 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables every single day. That's just not enough to have all the nutrients that we need to help our body be as healthy as possible and get, those things that are going to help us be healthy in the long term. And so before you can go and perform and do all these great things with your fitness, you have to balance out your health. And so that's one of the ones that I've always used. And then there's some other ones that I've used called proanthanols. And some of you might have heard of a program called the MR program, the Metabolic Reset Program, if you come from that. That gives you a wide range of some of the best supplements in the world and a specific nutrition approach to help you flush your body of toxins and inflammation, flood it with nutrients, and really change, a lot of things about the trajectory of your health. And if you've tried that, you know what I'm talking about. So people have made amazing results in terms of how they feel, how they look, and they've done some really good things for their body. And then that goes back to what I'm saying. Now that you feel better, now that you're not having all these pains, now that you have more energy, a lot of people now want to graduate to, okay, what else can I do? How else can I be more fit? What else is there for me out there? And then you can explore different supplements that can help you with that and performance. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about those and see if that's something that could be right for you. In our industry, one of the first products that came out that really took the fitness industry by storm, other than fat burners, other than just some of the energy products that people were looking for to grab at all time, was something called a pre-workout product. And it was a combination of nutrients that are geared to help you perform better in terms of your workouts and give you that energy that you need, give you that recovery that you need, give you that edge that you needed. And so one of the products that I use for quite a while and love is called Be Focused. And I'm gonna like share my screen for a second. I'm gonna show you some of these products. And this one is a pre-workout that you would take before your workout, and it's something that I think you'll find that you definitely want to explore. Let me see if I can find where I want to be. But in the industry, the problem is it's like the Wild West out there. And a lot of the products, you don't really know what's in them to the degree that you should. So what happens is a lot of companies put things in their products that aren't the cleanest product, the cleanest nutrients, and they'll use extra caffeine so you get that feeling because you could feel that energy. But too much is going to make your body crash. And so what Life Plus does is it gives you the tested, tried and true ingredients that your body actually needs and uses that have been scientifically proven to help you. And the pre-workout, the one that you use before workout, is called Be Focused. And this is it right here. It has enough caffeine to give you energy, but not enough to crash you. So there's 125 milligrams of caffeine in a serving. At 240 pounds, that's enough for me to feel some energy from it. To give you an example, if you had a can of, say, like Bang, one of the popular drinks out there, there's 300 milligrams of caffeine in a thing of Bang. That's just like too much. But they're opting on you just getting that feeling of, wow, I really feel this. This is great. And it's really just overstimulating you, and that's going to cause you to crash later. So it's not really clean energy like this is. But it's not just about that. Be Focus has, again, I talked about creatine earlier and how it's the most well-researched supplement that's out there. It has a serving of creatine in there. So that's going to help you have more anaerobic energy when you're actually training, whether you're lifting, whether you're cycling, whether you're sprinting, whether you're doing something that you need some kind of anaerobic power, whether you're rowing. That's going to help you do it better and longer and faster. Another thing that it has is a number of neurotransmitters. Now, neurotransmitters are certain amino acids that help make you more alert, help you have better focus, help you have better mental energy. That's huge. That can change and elevate your mood in terms of wanting to train in the first place. So it's a different energy pathway than caffeine. It's just that alertness that can help you do, you know, perform better in ways that you didn't think. So like say you're a football quarterback and you're dropping back and you're trying to read the field and you got to like, you know, go through your progressions and see who's open and who's not. You're going to do it faster if you're more mentally alert. These are the kind of amino acids that are going to help you. One of my clients he's actually a semi-pro tennis player, masters tennis player and a pickleball player. And he says when he uses that, he just can concentrate better and focus better and his game just feels sharper, not to mention the physical energy that he has. And so that's something that can really be effective for you. You can go from just not like, I don't really want to work out today. It's like, and we all have had those days. I mean, you do this long enough, you're going to have days like that. I've had my share of days like that to like, okay, let's go. Energy, it starts with energy. And if you don't have energy, you're not going to want to do anything. And that energy comes from getting enough calories in. That energy comes from getting your body the right nutrients. And then you can kind of time it to like, okay, I'm going to work out in 30 minutes. I'm going to make sure that my energy is good in terms of my physical energy and my mental energy. And by a product like this, and Be Focus is one of the best products. And now you're ready to go. Um, Not to get political, but there was a famous debate a few weeks ago between two presidential candidates, the sitting president, and unfortunately for President Biden, he was just like not there. I mean, you could just see it. He didn't have any energy, and his focus and attention was off. I guarantee you, if he had Be Focused before this, and I'm not saying that as a joke, but I just in terms of how this works in the body and just having that kind of concentration, you know, he might still be running for office because his performance would have been a lot different. That's how powerful something like that could be. That's how effective something like that can be. And you've all experienced energy. Like you can feel like you don't want to do something in the gym, and favorite song comes on, and now you're jacked up with energy. And this is biochemical energy that your body's going to use, and it's energy that you're going to get from mental stimulation, and you're going to get energy from the creatine. It also has something called beta alanine, which is another energy platform, a different pathway than creatine. So you're going to get some energy from this, but it's clean. It's not going to crash you. You're not going to like take this and say, "Oh wow, I don't want to do anything later." Which I've tried. There's a competition called the Mr. Olympia, which is like a big event in bodybuilding, and all the major supplements companies come there, and they sample out a lot of their products, and so you get to field test a lot of different things. I promise you, I've tested over 100 different pre-workouts, especially before I discovered Live Plus. Because I've gone to that show for like 17, 18 times, and a lot of those products, man, I mean, they overload them with caffeine, and there's just things in them that's like you're like, whoa, what's in this? I feel weird. Or if you take it and say some kind of delay in traffic, you get there and now you're like jittery and nervous. And I've actually been in the gym training one of my clients, and one of the members there had taken some pre-workout and was having a bad reaction to it, and she was a nurse and she had to attend to him. So there's things out there that aren't quite as safe. I did not feel comfortable recommending a lot of those mainstream products to my clients. I feel very comfortable recommending this to my clients, whether my client's an athlete or whether my client's an adorable 71-year-old lady that wants some energy that is for her walks or something. So it's definitely something that you could try. I was watching one of the clips from Bethany's class, and they're going through some different stations, and they're using some foot drills and stepping on different colors and reacting and different things like that. Something like that could make that happen faster. So it's definitely one of those things that you'll know if it's helping you or not. You'll know if it's something you want to keep using or not, and it's a really good one to try. The thing about the B products is they have positioned them so that can be used in sequence. And so there's a pre-workout, there's a during workout, an intra-training product, there's a post-workout product. You don't have to use all of them, but you can, and you can kind of tailor it to what you're trying to do. So Be Focused is the pre-workout. By the way, when you go on the page of these products, there's this tab called Product Fact Sheet. If you click on that tab, that'll bring up a PDF like this one, and that gives you all the scientific details of the different ingredients and how they work and why they work and what they are, and so you can really get like a full disclaimer of what those products really have in them and how it could really help you. So that's easy to have. It's a little nerdy, but it's definitely something that you can dive into if you have that inclination like I do. Another one is Be Sustained, and Be Sustained is designed to help you sustain your energy, to help you keep going. So if you think about one of the most popular sports nutrition products in the world is Gatorade, and that's what Gatorade is supposed to be. Be Sustained actually is. Gatorade is too much sugar and artificial color, and it only has two electrolytes, sodium and potassium, which is what most of these types of products have, whereas Be Sustained has sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and think another one has like five different electrolytes. They all do different things. It helps your body to be hydrated. It helps your body to, you know, our body is very electric, and there's a lot of different currents and activity that happens throughout our body. If we have the right balance of electrolytes, our body can perform better. So it helps our muscles contract and relax, and buffers, some of the lactic acid that's in there. So it's going to help you fight cramping, and it's going to help you sustain that energy longer. So this is for an endurance athlete. This is for someone that's going on long cycles or long swims, or they're sweating a lot, or different types of things like that. So if you're in the gym and you're training like 25, 30 minutes, maybe you don't need this. But if you're training longer periods of time, like an hour plus, or if you're cycling, or you're doing something where you're out in the sun and you're sweating a lot, this is something that's going to keep you able to perform at a peak a lot better, a lot higher. And the people that use this, you know it. So for me, it's one of the ones that I noticed early in my life how important electrolytes can be. When I was living in Japan, my dad was in the Navy, so we were in Japan for a while, and I've been playing basketball like hours. And I was back home, and I'd already drank a ton of water, but you sweat out more than water. And my body was just not, it was just depleted of electrolytes. I didn't even know what electrolyte was. I was like 13, 14. And I was lying on the floor watching a baseball game, and I hear this scream. And I'm like, and then I realized it was me screaming. And I felt like I'd been stabbed in the hamstring. And I literally reached back to feel, the knife or whatever, and pull it out. It was no knife. There was just a knot there. My hamstring had cramped up so bad from just being so depleted of electrolytes. And I never felt anything like that in my life. It was like the sharpest pain ever. And I had to do almost like a leg extension, use all the power of my quads, just try to straighten my leg out. And that was from a lack of electrolytes. And that's how depleted your body can get. And without me knowing it. And that's my first understanding of what was going on from a scientific standpoint. And I've seen that happen to other athletes. I saw it happen if you watch NBA basketball, you may have seen it happen about 5 or 6 years ago to LeBron James, when he was just cramping up so bad, he had to come off the court. He just couldn't perform. And you get to that point, they're giving you IVs. That didn't need to happen, and a better product than Gatorade could keep that from happening. I had it, and so I always had, since that time, some kind of electrolyte product with me. And I had a buddy in college named Scott, and he was like a martial artist, and he'd been out just doing a bunch of sprints and running, and it was hot, and it was humid, and he was coming in, and he was just cramping like crazy, and he didn't know why. He could barely walk, he could barely stand up. And I had, an electrolyte powder upstairs. Not even this one. This was like when I was still in college. Not as good as this one, but good enough. And it was within 5 minutes of him drinking that, those cramps went away, and he started feeling normal again. And it can really make a difference. You can imagine that you can get to the point where you're not functioning, you can't even move, or you're cramping up. Well, imagine if you're just somewhat depleted, and how that could affect your performance, and how that could affect, your ability, how it could affect your time. And I've been able to work with some triathletes. I've been able to work with some cyclists. I've been able to work with some distance runners, and this is a product that can definitely help you stay hydrated, prevent those cramps from happening, and allow your muscles to contract and relax the way they should. So it's definitely something that you can try out. They balance this formula between Be Sustained and Be Focused. So they take some of the creatine that typically goes in a pre-workout, and they put it in this one to give you some energy as well, to give you, so that you don't normally need creatine for aerobic energy, but this is for the people that, if you're cycling and all of a sudden you got to go up that hill, that's when that's going to help you. And they also have an energizer in there called beta alanine, which is, it's basically what it does is it buffers lactic acid. So that burning feeling in your muscles, like carnosine is a precursor of carnosine, beta alanine. So it buffers that lactic acid burning feeling in your muscles that builds up over time. So when you're cycling for a long time, when you're running for a long time, that burning in your shoulders when you're hitting the bag or something like that, it's going to help push that back. So any kind of endurance athlete, that's something that you can field test it for yourself and see if it works. And that's something that if you're whether you just recreationally want to perform better or whether you're really trying to push and get to a better PR, a better performance. And that's the beauty about sports nutrition products is you can test them and see how well they work for you. And then you can time them for when they work best for you and really understand, yeah, that's something I want to keep taking because it's helping me. That's going to help me recover faster. That's going to help me perform better. And you try to find that optimum range for that. And again, with this product, it has the product fact sheet, that PDF that breaks down all the different scientific aspects of this, so you know what you're taking, you know what you're getting, and that's one thing I love about this company because they manufacture their own products. Most companies don't do that. You're just getting, the product that they bought from someone else and put their label on, as opposed to something that was specifically formulated to give you the best possible option. And then finally, one of my favorite ones of the triple series of before, during, and after. There's one more B product I'll talk about in a second. It's called Be Recharged. Be Recharged is for recovery and to help give your body what it needs to help combat that muscle tissue breakdown. So whether you're training hard with weights or whether you're just training a lot, your body needs to recover. And as good as protein has to be broken down into the amino acids. This is those amino acids. This is the branched chain amino acids which are metabolized in the muscle that help protect your muscles from being broken down in the first place, and they're used very rapidly for muscle repair. And it's the essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are the ones that your body can't make. So you have to take them from foods. You have to get them inside. The essential amino acids can make the non-essential ones, but you don't want to use up all your essential amino acids making the non-essential amino acids. So if you take some essential amino acids, that's going to help you have enough in your body. But the thing about amino acids as opposed to protein, it's already broken down. So it can absorb straight from the blood into the muscles, into where your body needs it. So instead of eating a chicken breast and your body has to digest that and absorb it and assimilate it, and 4 or 5 hours later, you're getting those amino acids, you're getting those amino acids into your muscles within 20 or 30 minutes this way. So from a recovery standpoint, you're better off and better able to maximize that. So like when I was looking to train and maximize what I'm doing, and sometimes I'm in the gym training clients and I'm not getting to go home to eat a meal, or I got a window of time where I can train, but now I got to keep going. I don't want to rely on getting home 2 hours later and eating. I have this right there, boom. And my body's getting nourished. When you're dieting, when you're trying to lose weight, it is inherent that you're going to also lose some muscle. And so in my sport, when I'm coaching people for a show, like I'll coach a lot of figure competitors, bikini competitors, people that are dieting, fitness competitors, and some natural bodybuilders. So when you're dieting, you work real hard to get that muscle. You work real hard to balance your physique. The last thing you want to do is to lose that muscle while you're dieting, but you're eating less calories, you're eating fewer calories, you're trying to watch that. This is what I have them use to help fight that muscle wasting, because not only do you want to have it for appearance, but even if you're not planning to hit the stage, the more muscle you lose, the slower your metabolism is, and the harder it is to keep losing the body fat that you're trying to lose. So nourishing your body is very important, even when you're dieting. So you don't want to just manage your calories, you also want to nourish your body and give it the right nutrients. And this is a way to give it the target nutrients that it needs to help build and keep muscle while you're training, while you're dieting, so that you don't have the same muscle wasting as everybody else. And it's something that you can use if you're not dieting to help you recover as fast as possible. And without those extra calories, because if you're an athlete, most athletes have some kind of strength to weight ratio that you're trying to maintain. And if you're trying to get all the nutrients in and just from foods, and I've done that, you could be eating 4,000, 5,000 calories a day. I've done that. And then you're going to pick up body fat that you don't want. And what you want is the nutrients that your body needs, not necessarily calories. So you can kind of tailor that by using supplements like this one to give your to kind of bypass the digestion of having to eat as much protein or eat that extra protein that you don't necessarily want to have. And there's one more product in the B line that's B refueled, and that's a protein powder. It is a whey isolate protein from grass-fed beef. That's the cleanest, purest protein that you can have. It's a great product also to use post-workout. It's if you find yourself in need of that protein, if you find yourself in a situation where you want the best possible protein, then B Refuel is that product, and you can use that one. And I've used that many times. So B Recharge is something I'd use like as I'm leaving the gym. B Refuel I use when I got home. You know, especially back when I was in the Bay Area, and that commute home was like 45 minutes later. You know, sometimes by the time you get home, unless you have food already fixed or cooked, you know, how long is it going to be before you eat? Or that window of opportunity where your body's going to take in maximum nutrients is right then. And so if you can use that window, and people say, well, there's no growth window. It's not a growth window, it's a recovery window. It's a period of time, a couple hours after you've trained hard, where your body needs nutrients and it's going to uptake them, you know, as rapidly as possible. And you replenish 65 to 75% of your glycogen stores within that first 2 hours. And so you want to feed yourself and fuel yourself as best as you can, you know, whether it's food, whether it's supplements, whether it's both. Those are key times to help yourself recover. So those are some different things that I love to use. I will add something to this, not in the specific sports nutrition line. There's a product called Excel, and it's part of the MR program. What it is nitric oxide precursors. Nitric oxide is produced within the body, and it's a vasodilator. It opens up the blood vessels and is really good for better blood flow. And that blood flow helps remove toxins from the body, deliver nutrients from the body. So it's good for inflammation, but it's also good to get those nutrients to your body faster. It's something that is in a lot of the pre-workouts. Like a lot of the pre-workouts you'll find, they'll have, you know, like a B Focus, they'll have the nitric oxide already in there. There's some pros to that in terms of you get a really good muscle pump, and which is great if you're a bodybuilder. Yeah, your biceps are all pumped up, and that's a good feeling. But if you're, you know, a boxer, do you want your shoulders all pumped up? If you're a sprinter, do you want your quads and your hamstrings all pumped up? No, it's going to slow you down. So it's ideal for most athletes that there is no nitric oxide precursor in there. So you can actually take that and use it like during your workout to just have better blood flow and clear the toxins out faster, or after your workout to help you recover faster. And this is ideal if you say you're a triathlete and you're doing 2 or 3 workouts a day. So say you're doing, you know, a bike and a swim, or swim and a run, or a run and a conditioning session, or something like that. And so you can plan and have different things for when you need them. You know, maybe one's not that hard, so you don't really need, you know, a pre-workout, but you definitely need to be sustained, and you definitely need to recover in between, depending on the timing and you know what your schedule is. So the beauty of these products being separated like that is you can customize your program to what works best for you, just by understanding how they're used and a little bit of experimentation. And I'm happy to answer questions in terms of, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, what do you think? Is feel free to, like, you know, message me in the group and say, this is what I've seen happen, or this is what I've seen work, or this is how I've used it, or whatever. And then you can try it out and see what works best for you. And my tennis player, there's days that he uses all 3 of those products. There's days that he only uses one. It's nice to have that option. It's nice to have that ability to play those different games with your body in terms of helping it perform as best as it can perform, in a healthy way, in a safe way, in a way that you can measure, in a way that makes it fun for you, in a way that it kind of sounds weird to say, but yeah, it training can be hard, and so anything that you do that helps you with your training in terms of your motivation or your recovery or your energy, those are just tools that can help you. So these are tools that can help you. Again, you have to look at your diet. You have to look at the foundation of what that is and how that can be better. And if you're going to use supplements, you have to have those foundational nutrients that you're using, those nourish, cleanse, and protect nutrients that you're using. Daily Biobasics being the first one. There's one called proanthanols that I love, which is the greatest antioxidant in the world. And there's one called Almi Gold, which is good for heart health and brain health because it's an immune system functioning. So those three are kind of the core products. If you're a high level athlete, you should be using all those products. But then, when you start customizing what you're trying to do or what, and it's up to you, you can start wherever you want to do. But some of these that may be that missing ingredient for you if you're not recovering the way you want, if you don't have the energy that you want, if you don't have the focus that you want, if you don't have the motivation that you want. Those are all great products that you can use, and those are all things that can help you.
How much protein per meal can a person generally use without harming organs?
So this is something that's also been researched, and there's theories of, oh, well, this protein is going to be dangerous for you and damage your liver. There's never been any proof of that. I would recommend every person would have 1 gram of protein per lean pound of body weight. So if say you're 200 pounds, but your lean weight would be 150, you don't need 200 grams of protein a day. So you can have, 150 grams of protein a day. That's going to give you enough. Now, that's also depending on how many calories you're taking in. It also depends on how many carbohydrates you're taking in. If you're on a low carbohydrate diet, your calories have to come from somewhere. So you're going to either have to have higher protein or higher fats or both of those to balance out the low calories that you're taking in, even if you're dieting, because if your calories are too low, your body's just going to adapt too fast and you may lose quickly, but then that weight loss is going to stop and your metabolism is going to adapt down to the fact that you're not getting enough calories. And I always tell people, too many calories can cause you to gain weight. Not enough calories can keep you from losing weight. So you want to diet on as many calories as possible. Some of those calories need to come from protein, and your body just processes protein easier or differently. It's harder to digest. It's slower digesting, so it takes more calories for your body to digest and assimilate that protein than it does, say, carbohydrates or fats. And fats are so calorically dense. So someone that's trying to get lean or have the right body composition, getting enough protein in it is ideal. In general, that 20 to 25 grams a meal for a lighter weight person or female could be a good range. 35 to 40 for men or someone with more muscle. But it depends on the person, it depends on the goal, it depends on what they're trying to do. So I'd say look at your body weight and calculate, if you can, your lean body weight and figure out what that is and use that as a target of protein to have throughout the day, at least 80% of that, and split that evenly throughout the day over at least 4 servings.
Cool. All right, so here's another one. How early should you or can you take the Be Focus prior to working out?
Usually, I think they recommend 30 minutes. I've taken it as little as 20 minutes. And here's one thing about a quick tip I'll give you on the Be Focus. Being the serving size of Be Focused, if you're a larger or heavier person, you can use a little bit more if you want to get more caffeine or something like that. So just use a heaping scoop instead of a regular scoop. But I just typically use a regular scoop. And what I'll do is instead of having it in 8 ounces of water, I'll have it in like 6 ounces of water. And it just gets into my system a little bit faster. And I feel that energy kick in a little bit faster without having to use more. And so it works that way. So it's so clean and pure that you don't need as much of it as, I get as much energy from that as I've gotten from some of the ones with the 250, 300 grams of caffeine in them. Because it's not just the caffeine, it's also those neurotransmitters that give you that alertness. And it can be good for a hard weight workout for me, or it could be good for, I'm going to go for a 2-3 mile walk and I just want to have some energy for that. So it's pretty versatile. And it's easy to try. That's one of those things that you can field test and know if it's something you want to keep using or not. And I'll say something real quick about alcohol because that comes up often for people. Doesn't mean you can't have it, but like when I talk about, the how to fix your diet, so you look at how many things that you're having. If you're having a couple cookies, you know, a day, is that going to hurt you? If you have a couple cookies a week, probably not. If you're having a couple cookies an hour, that might be a problem, right? And so the same thing with alcohol. How much are you having? If you're having one or two glasses of wine a week, that's probably not going to do much. If you have one or two glasses of wine a day, that may affect you. If you have one or two glasses of wine an hour, yeah, you're probably going to have an issue with that. So it's just looking at it. But one thing about alcohol, and research shows this, is your body doesn't know what to do with alcohol. It treats it like a sugar. And so when you take in alcohol, it literally stops burning all your other calories and focuses on processing and getting rid of the alcohol. So that alcohol shuts down your calorie burning for your regular protein, carbs, and fats, and until it processes and gets rid of that alcohol. So it can definitely slow down your progress if you're trying to lose weight. And what I tell my clients is, you know, think of every time you have a glass of wine or something, think of that like eating a donut. Think of it as a liquid donut. How many donuts would you want to eat in terms of your fitness program? If you think of it and imagine it that way, then you're going to look at it differently, because we can justify having anything that we want and not really, you know, be aware of it. And that's why I always recommend that first step to people when they were to do their diet, or if I'm doing their diet, is write down everything you're eating and drinking along with the times, just to create that awareness and just to see what it is. And sometimes just by looking at that, you can know where the problem is, and you can know where you need to shape some things up. Doesn't mean you can't have those things, but you don't want to have them to the degree that is costing you, the progress that you want, because that you're working towards. And some person's diet can be different from another. Some person can have three times as much as some things and it's not a problem. Other people, they can have, just a little bit of it, and it's a change that they need to make. So but it starts with that awareness, and it starts with just knowing what you're doing, and then you have some control over changing it.
So here's another question. I'm sitting with my friend and she has struggled with taking products like Be Focused due to the uncomfortable feeling of the amount of caffeine and B vitamins give her. Would you recommend a lower dose? Kev?
So she can try like a half serving and see if she gets results with that. But if you go on that product fact sheet and you read about Be Focused, one of the things that they'll say is the reason that they split up, it's a beta alanine that causes that tingling sensation. And the reason they don't give you as much caffeine, the reason they don't give you that full dose of beta alanine, they split it into the Be Focused and the Be Sustained, is so that you don't get that nervousness, you don't get that itchy feeling, you don't get that discomfort, from that product. So it's not this, if she's tried other products and had that problem, she might not have it with this one. If she's had an issue with this one, yeah, start off with less of it. Maybe dilute it a little bit more, and just see how that works for you, and see if you get, it could get to the point where if you're not getting any energy from it, just to keep yourself from getting the reaction, then it's just not the best product for you. And that's fine. You don't necessarily need to have a caffeine product for your pre-workout. Maybe you just use something like Be Sustained, and that's your pre-workout, and you go with that, or you can tailor it. But you can definitely tailor the amount, that's and see how that works for you, to the point where it's like, okay, I'll try just a half serving and see how that works. And then if you get the energy from the half serving that you need and you don't have a reaction, you're good to go.
Cool. Thank you. Kev, thank you so much for your time. That was great. Appreciate you. Any closing words?
My pleasure. I will say something real quick if you can indulge me, and I'll try to tell this story really quickly.
I'll indulge you.
So it's the whole thing about fitness is it's a journey, and there's going to be ups and downs, and it's been a great journey for me in terms of learning. And it's funny, this morning I actually taught some group exercise classes for a friend of mine who's on vacation, and it was a lot of stuff that I know I should do more and don't do as much, a lot of core work and stretching, and yeah, so I'm like sitting here fidgeting around because my adductors are like tight, and everything's like I'm feeling it, So it's like, you need to do more of that stuff. So we got to get out of our comfort zone a little bit. So that's why it's great to try different things. But what I've discovered over fitness for a while and I've been transitioned, like I told Todd, into more of a fitness life coaching thing. And it's about finding that why and finding that reason and finding those things that fuel your drive to keep you going. And that's important, because we don't it's amazing how many people that I've met who are incredible people and they have no clue. So we don't typically value ourselves as much as we should and put that time into ourselves the way that we should. And that's a problem. That keeps people from taking those steps. So understand that you're worth it. Understand how important you are, how important fitness is, and how that can impact other people's lives. And one quick story I'll tell you is I was working in this exercise equipment store. This is after I left managing Gold's Gym, and this guy walked in like early 40s and with a girl who was like early 20s, and he had this huge smile on his face as he walked up to me. And it's like, I know him, but I didn't know him. And I'm looking at him and he's smiling at me and just enjoying the fact that I couldn't place him. And he said, man, Kev, it's me. It's Mark Powell. I was like, oh my gosh. And the reason I didn't recognize him is he'd lost over 200 pounds. And the transformation had been so incredible. And he'd gone through a lot of different things that sparked that loss. But what had happened first is he found his why. And I remember the last time I saw Mark was at Gold's Gym. And when he walked in and I saw him at the exercise equipment store, he was like 220. The last time I'd seen him, he was over 400 pounds. And he said he didn't even, I actually interviewed him after this, and he said he'd gotten over 420. He'd gotten so heavy that they didn't have a scale to weigh him.
Holy cow.
And he was at the front desk one day and he was showing a picture of him in his younger days when he was a competitive powerlifter. And there's about 12 guys in the picture. And he's looking at this picture. And this is when he was lighter and more fit. And, he's probably in his early 20s and looked incredible. And he's just staring at this picture, staring at this picture. And he got real quiet and he says, all of a sudden he says, wow. He says, I'm the only one in this picture who's not dead. And it just kind of hit him right there. And that he needed to do something. And when he was still one of the biggest, strongest guys in the gym, he's 500-pound bench press, not really thinking about it. So he's so nice, and interviewed him later, said he'd look in the mirror and just thought he was perfect. And he'd get up every day, and the first thing he'd plan is, okay, I'm going to eat McDonald's for breakfast and Burger King for lunch and pizza for dinner. And it was filling an emotional need for him that, from because he's had some problems in his relationship and his marriage, which was ending. And so he was just kind of almost like punishing himself or rewarding himself in a different way, which he thought he was rewarding himself, but he was punishing himself. And it was going out of direction until he found a why. And that why was that young lady he walked in with, that was his daughter. And he had his daughter and he had his son. And those were his reasons for changing. And that was a strong enough why for Mark to get the help that he needed to make the changes that he made. And that was 20 years ago. And I talked to him last year, and he still has the weight off. So find your why, find your reason, understand that you have something more important that you're doing other than a PR, other than cut abs, other than how strong you are, other than all those other things, and let that drive you, let that fuel you, and also make this fun. It's been fun for me to have this journey and learn the things that I learned, and even the discomfort I'm feeling now from the workout that I did today was just to tell me that I need to do more of that. So value yourself, value fitness, and just keep going.
Kevin, thank you so much, my friend. I'm sure I speak for everybody else, and there's lots of thank yous in the chat. This was great. Appreciate you very much.
My pleasure.
And
I
thanks for
appreciate you
taking
guys
the
being here.
time. Appreciate all you do. Have a great rest of your night, my friend. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.